Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since we've had a chit chat, and what are we going to be talking about today? Knee replacements. Okay, I want to give you my perspective, and like I said, my perspective on what has happened to me getting both my knees replaced, what got it started, what kind of stuff is expected afterwards, all that good stuff that maybe help you make a choice in your whether you get it or not. But I just want you to remember, it's about me and what I have done. It does not necessarily apply to you as an individual because each and every one of us are different. But I want you to understand this in the beginning, that this is the stuff that I've gone through that I'm sharing with you. Your experience may be better or worse. I don't know. I don't have those answers. So I do hope so. So I want to start off right from the beginning. I could not have done this without the greatest support of my wife. She has been there. She drove me back from the hospital. She stayed with me in the hospital. She's gotten the ice for the ice bucket machine that they provided me when I came home. She's been there to help me up and down from the chair if I needed it. She's just been all around 110% right there to do everything. If I start to do something, she goes, no, let me get it. I mean, I'll give you an example. I tried to come upstairs by myself one time, and I did it. I got to the other side of the room where she's at, and she goes, well, no, let's go. I'll get you back downstairs. And she helped me back downstairs as a leaning post. So that was one of the greatest aspects. The other two are even better. My good friend George down there in Florida, he's been there with me every step of the way. We've talked on the phone, we've texted like 2 or 3 times a week. It depends. He's always there and answering questions because he recently had it done too. And then there's my other good friend John down in Texas, who also gives me great recommendations on what he had to go through and tells me what I need to keep up with. But once again, their knee surgeries or replacements were not the same as mine, just to let you know. So with all that out of the mind, how did this get started? Well, let's start from the beginning. For years now, I walk or I move my knees, you'll hear it like a machine gun, clack, 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 clack. They're just sore. And when I tried to do this in, tried to do this in El Paso, they said, well, you're not quite ready for surgery yet, and it's not really good. And at the same time, I was working. So sick leave and all that stuff plays a big factor in this choices that I made. So I get out here to Tennessee after I retired, and still having problems with my knees. I mean, I've actually had them pop out and throw me on the ground, or I have to lay there for a couple of days, a week or so, laying around the house to get my shit together. But that's just the way it was. So finally, I talked to my Dr. Stanley here at the Clarksville VA clinic. And I said, Dr. Stanley, I need knee surgery. I need knee help. So he sent me to Tennessee Orthopedics Alliance, TOA, short, okay? So TOA, doctor there saw me, and we talked a little bit about my knees, and he took this x-ray. As you can see, my knees are radiated up against. There's no cartilage, it's bone on bone. So that's why I'm having all the difficulties I am, plus a later stage of arthritis in there as well. So that was a bummer right there. So he set me up for he says, I don't think you're ready quite 100% for knee surgery. It'd be the last resort. Let's try this. So he gave me an injection, one in each knee. Supposed to be lasting 6 months, but it only lasted maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and my knees started hurting again. So I went back, and this time we talked to the doctor, and he says, okay, they got another treatment. It's 3 injections, 3 times a week, and it should be good for a year. Well, it lasted a month and a half, 2 months. I just said, hey, look, I'm tired. So I contacted Dr. Stanley. I said, hey, look, I need to go and get knee surgery. So they sent me back to TOA, Tennessee Orthopedics Alliance. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, this time I went back, and my doctor was deployed to Europe for some reason. So I got to see the intern who actually gave me all these shots in the middle there, the 3 series shots. And I guess he's a doctor as well. And he's like, okay, I think you're ready for knee surgery. That's all there is to it. So went to see Dr. Carpenter at the same place. Now, Dr. Carpenter is out of the TOA out of Nashville. He works at the Centennial Hospital. And just a couple miles from the VA center. He said, okay, this is what we're going to do. When do you want to do it? And I looked at him and I said, hey, we'll do this in January. Right there in the beginning of January, I want to start knee surgery. So why January? Why wait 6 months or more? Well, January, February, March are usually cold and wet and no riding. So obviously I like to ride. So I chose to go ahead and do the bilateral, which is both knees at the same time. And the reason for that is I'll go ahead and heal January, February, March and be riding. And the reality is I started riding in January again, very slow, but I did ride. In February I rode more, so you get the gist of the picture. Most people do one knee at a time, and then they heal for about 5 months, 6 months. Then they come back and do the second knee. Well, if you do that in my category, that means, hell, riding season, right in September, I'll be losing a lot of miles, and I don't like to do that. So that's why I chose bilateral surgery. So now you got the gist of it. So before you do knee surgery, try to get yourself in a little shape. I mean, round is a shape, I got it, you know, that's the way it is. But get out and walk, use your legs, exercise your legs, even though it hurts a little bit, but don't overhurt yourself to get ready for this surgery. And that's what they recommended. For me, I was already ahead of the ball game. I do it anyway. So they sent me there on the 29th of January, 2020, where I had the pre-emissions testing and all that, you know, test for COVID, tell you what's going to go on, show you the videos, talk to you about it, and all that was all online, plus the visit. And I said, I'm good to go. So here comes 9 January, the weekend or the Friday before Monday that we had the operation. They called me and said, hey, got to be here by 6:30. I said, oh, that's better than 4 o'clock. Good, because originally I was going to be there at 5. So we got up before 3:30, 4 o'clock and left the house and got down there just before 6 o'clock and sat in the waiting area for a little while. They took me to my room, took me to my room and had me stripped down and put on a little gown because you can't wear nothing and all that. And of course, you also have to take their showers with their cleanling soap stuff that they recommend. So we did all that. They gave me a shot and whatever, and we talked and asked questions. I had more than one doctor or nurse in that room at any given time, plus my wife. And they wheeled me down the hallway. Well, I remember going down the hallway, and that was it. Well, I woke up in the morning, or not in the morning, that afternoon, about 1:30, 2 o'clock, give or take a few, and kind of groggy coming out of anesthesia. And my wife was right here by my bedside, which is good. And she actually slept in the chair that folds into a bed, so they let her stay the night, and she had the lunch at the cafeteria, which is expensive, but it was worth it. And I got right, I was wide awake now by 2:30, 3 o'clock. And the nurse come in. And as you can see here, I got blue tubes hooked up to me and my bandages are on my legs, right? That's good. And blue tubes hook up to the ice machine, which hooks up to 2 pads on my knees, which reduces the swelling. And they gave me the 2 buckets to bring home to put water and ice in it to keep my legs cool for 3 weeks or so. And I'll get to that later, I hope. Anyway, nurse came in and she said, hey, got to see how you're doing. So she put a belt around my waist, and we went to the bathroom so I could learn how to sit down. I did it with no problem. I just held onto the rail and sat down. Got back up and she was going to put me in bed. I said, hey, let's go for a walk. So you can see with this video, we went out to the hallway and strolled around. I got pretty fast at this shit, right? So with all that said and done, I said, when can I go home? She goes, well, you're spending the night and we'll get you tomorrow. So between all the drugs, and they came in and finally took the bandages off sometime that evening and let my legs breathe. And I could see the scars on my knees, which have pretty much healed right now as you speak. And so far, so good. Come the 10th, I'm ready to go home. I mean, I'm tired of getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get more medicine and stuff. But hey, and my wife can't sleep every time the light comes on either. You know, it's just the way it is. So we come in. She goes, well, you got to do all these tests. I mean, I got to go through occupational health therapy and before I can be released. So I'm waiting around. And here comes the doctor, not Dr. Carpenter. Well, yeah, Dr. Carpenter came in at 6 o'clock that morning. Told me the operation went really super good. I should be doing good. He says he moved yesterday, which is better than he expected. And he says he's got people with one leg that haven't even done as well. I said, well, that's good. That's a good compliment. So then around 10 o'clock, the second doctor come in and he says, man, you're above average. I said, you're well ahead of the game. So you should be doing pretty good within 4 months and stuff. I gave myself 6 to 7 months just to be totally safe on that one. So anyway, that afternoon, well, just before lunch, I think it was, the occupational nurse, she returned. Showed me some exercises that I had to do with my legs at home, as well as the one she showed me the day before yesterday with my feet and keeping them moving. And then she said, let's get up and let's go walk. And we went down the hallway, da-dee-da-dee-da, and back out again. And she says, okay, well, we got to go down the hallway here to the therapy room where I can make sure I can get up in my truck and whatever else she wanted. So I got up in that truck easily, no help. And she's like, okay. She shook her head. And then I had to walk upstairs and downstairs. By the time I got to the other side of the stairs, she come around with my walker. So as you can see, she says I'm ready to go. So the staff and the nursing and all the people at the Centennial Hospital there in Nashville, Tennessee, did a fantastic job. I mean, they made you feel good and they made you feel comfortable, and there was never a dull moment with them. So I loved it. So that's just about it. So now we're at the home. I got a walker. Good recommendation from my friend George is to put tennis balls on the bottom, which will help me get around the house a lot easier. And it did. It really, really did. Slept in my recliner a lot. I recommend getting a good recliner because sleeping in the bed doesn't always work. My wife got me into the bed, put the ice machines on me a couple times. I just couldn't stand it, so I wound up getting out of the bed there and sleeping in the recliner. So I'm starting to walk around now with the walker, and I'm getting pretty good at it. You know, everything simple. And then one day I decided just to use my cane, and I'm just as good with a cane too. So that brings us to the end of January, the beginning of February here somewhat, actually the middle of February. TOA calls me up from TOA home therapy, whatever they were from there. So this nice young lady, Casey, shows up and she measures my legs. Now the first time they measured me at the hospital, I was 85 degrees. Not the best, but not the worst. And here I'm at 120, okay, which is good. And she says, you're well ahead of the thing. And she showed me some new exercises after we did all this paperwork and stuff like that. She goes, your therapist is going to be Josh or Corey. I forget his name. I'm sorry. And he'll be contacting you when he comes out here in a day or two. He'll be your actual therapist that does more work with you. So a couple days later, he came over and I went out to greet him in the truck. He says, you're moving like that? I said, yeah. And he says, we're probably not going to be doing this too long. I said, okay. So he had me walk down the driveway as I walked down the steps and walked back, and he noticed I dragged my heel. I said, well, that's normal. I said, well, we'll fix that. So he taught me how to pick up my leg again and work it so I don't drag my heels no more. And we went inside and he showed me 3 or 4 more exercises on top of the 6 that Casey showed me. Now, let me tell you, the book that Casey has a lot of them, has 3 on each page, and I've done 4 pages. So I did them all. I told him, hey, I did this. He said, well, you're ahead of the ball game. So he came, he said, okay, I'll see you next week on, I think it was Monday. And I said, okay. Came in Monday, went back out there without the cane, without anything. He says, I think you're about done, Mr. Smith. There's nothing I can do for you anymore. So he says, you need to call the TOA therapy clinic. And I did. And I booked an appointment with them on the 20th of February. Just this last week, right? Today's the 25th. So I went to see this nice young lady named Tori. She showed me more exercises, how to get out of the chair, just using my thighs and stuff, and other exercises. One I told her I just can't do. I can't stand up out of a chair with one foot out and other foot down. It don't work. So she says, don't worry about that. The next day she said that. Well, the following day, Thursday, which was the 23rd, I went in there, we started talking. She says, Mr. Smith, I don't know why you're here to see me. You're ahead of the ball game. So we were done with physical therapy. So now I'm just waiting for my doctor on the 8th of March. And today, like I said, it's the 25th. So part of the surgery that I did not expect was bruising. And here's a picture or two. And man, you'll bruise everything from your knee down to your ankle, and it looks black and it's nasty. I was like, holy shit, what am I doing, doc? It's normal, people. It's normal. So get that in your head. You will bruise. And here's a picture of it after I bruised. It was starting to heal, standing on my own still. And of course, when I got home on the 10th of February, here's a video of me walking home around the house or a little bit. That helped you too. So things to do before that. Watch videos that are post knee surgery. Remember, post. Don't watch one and how they actually do a knee surgery. You don't want to do that. I did it. I'm glad I did it at the end where I could see exactly what the hell they do. So here's a picture of my knees done and healed and everything. So that's a good thing. But I just wanted to state that. Just don't watch the video on how they do the surgery before you go in there. If you want to, that's up to you. But I would recommend that you don't. Even my buddy George said don't watch it because he told me how they did it after the surgery. So That's a big plus. With all that said and done, people, I mean, life is good. I'm going to be healed. I give myself to probably July and August before I'm actually 100% anymore. But the whole bottom line is the surgery went well. I came out of it. I lost weight that I've been trying to lose. I lost almost 30 pounds up so far. And I'm trying to get actually skinny and get rid of this big old belly of mine and get down there to about the 200 mark. I might still look a little like a plump tomato. I don't know. But I got to get down. When I came out of surgery, I was at 260. And I don't know if that's just going to water weight or what. And now I'm down to 232. So almost 229 a couple times. But it fluctuates. That's just me. So with that in mind, that's what knee surgery replacement's all about. And this is how it had affected me. I get out and I walk my half a mile to begin with every day, twice, 3 times a day, unless the weather's bad. Now I'm up to almost a mile and a half walking. It's something just to keep your legs moving. Don't be one of those that get the post-surgery, you get done with it and then you just kind of lay there and you don't get out and try to move your leg. I was at the clinic the other day. There was a lady, she's in her 80s. She had her knee replaced on Friday. And here it was Monday, she's going to physical therapy already. She moves slow. That's good, but she is moving, and that's what counts. Get a good doctor, number 1. Actually, back up, that's number 2. Number 1 is get a good support chain. Get your family involved, help you out, whatever it needs to do. Good doctor, we already talked about. Good therapist afterwards. And more than likely, you, yourself, get out and do it and work yourself. But don't work yourself to the point of pain, okay? That's just ridiculous if you're going to hurt yourself. Just work it enough to get a little pressure, a little strain, and just work it every time, a little bit at a time, okay? So, well, we've reached the end, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helps you understand a little bit more about the knee replacement process. And please, hit the like button if you like the video content. And then maybe subscribe to my channel here a little bit. And to make sure you get on top of everything, hit the little notification bell. It's all good. Because I really want to thank my new subscribers. I want to thank my older subscribers. And I want to thank anybody who just views this. The video content is, like I said, based upon my experience. And it applies to me. It might not apply to you. But the general information is there. So with all that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for watching my channel. I want you to have a great 2023 year. And most of all, remember, you live in the greatest country in the world, America. And let's kick it and then make America strong. All right? Thank you. And God bless you.